Well, good morning, and welcome to the First Unitarian Church of Pittsburgh. I'm Ward Kelsey, a member of the worship team, and today is Sunday, May 21st, 2023. Erica Shadowsong, our Director of Lifetime Religious Education, will be leading our service today. However, I should mention that our minister, Reverend Kate Walker, is here today, and we'll find something for her to do somewhere along the way. We are really glad you've chosen to be with us this morning. We are one people of many beliefs, many origins, sexualities, and genders. We are all growing, all learning, and all loved. Just as you are welcome. And I happen to be here minus a filling, courtesy of a bagel I ate this morning. We are working for justice wherever the heavy weight of oppression has dug into the fabric of life. I am live in our sanctuary along with some other folks in person and those on YouTube. I have with me today volunteers and staff who are working to bring this worship to you. On behalf of this team, sorry I lost my place there. On behalf of this team, thanks for being here with us. If this is your first time with us, we want to be in touch with you. If you have not already done so, please go to the welcome desk in our garden lobby out that way. Or if you're on YouTube, visit our website. Just Google First Unitarian of Pittsburgh, and then sign up for our weekly newsletter. That sign-up place is at the bottom of the page. You are also invited to join us for social time on Zoom following this live worship. To get a Zoom link, please send an email to firstunitarianpittsburgh, all one word, @gmail.com, and a link will be automatically sent to you. Now I invite you to take a deep breath, arrive in body and spirit, and picture yourself connected to all others who are watching today or in the sanctuary this morning and in the future. Lastly, if you are a church member, please don't miss our annual meeting today at 12:15 here in the sanctuary, online or on Zoom. And now we're going to go to lighting our chalice. We turn to the chalice, the symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith. If you have a chalice at home, we invite you to light it at this time. May this flame burn bright in your heart and mind as we worship together.
I invite you to rise in body or in spirit as we sing our opening hymn, number 1023.
We will sing through the hymn first, and then we will use it as a round and sing it twice through, starting with the right side over here. Your
left
your
side will be with me.
Well, that's stage right. So.
Right, my left.
Building bridges between our divisions, I reach out to you, will you reach out to me? With all of our voices and all of our visions, friends, we could make such sweet harmony. Building bridges between our divisions, I reach out to you, will you reach out to me? With all of our voices and all of our divisions, I reach out to you, will you reach out to me? With all of our voices and all of our visions, I
Yeah. Hi. I'm going to read from, my name is Brooke, and Clementine and Indigo are here, and we wanted to share a reading from Jonathan Van Ness in dedication to my niece, Rose, and their cousin, Rose, who is transgender, and also I want to dedicate to my dear friend, Kaya, who's also transgender. We are all a beautiful jumble of layers, parts, and mixtures of experiences. But my most important part, and in my opinion, everyone's most valuable part, is the one that chooses self-love instead of self-harm in the grand, sweeping ways, but also the little ways every single day. So in an effort for some self-love, I invite you all to hug yourself. Thank you.
I'm going to do the... Good morning. They did find something for me to do. So for those who don't know, I am honored and just delighted to serve as the minister of this wonderful community. My name is Reverend Kate Walker, and I use the she, her pronoun. And it's so fun to be on this side of the stage. Always enjoy that. And Brooke, you inspired me. I'm going to dedicate this story to my best friend. We've known each other since college, who is also trans, and their name is Jode. This is a, who are you? Right? That's a great question. Who are you? And it's by Brooke Pessin-Wedby, illustrated by Naomi Bardoff. Okay. And I'm going to, after the service, leave this book out in the welcome desk so that you can see these beautiful illustrations, okay, because they really are lovely. Yep. This is a story about you. The important thing to remember is that you are the one who knows you best. All in agreement so far? Okay. When babies are born, people ask, is it a boy or a girl? Okay. Babies can't talk. So grown-ups make a guess by looking at their bodies. This is the sex assigned to you at birth, male or female. Sometimes people get this confused with gender. But gender is much more than the body you were born with. As babies grow into kids, they start to know what they like and what they don't like. Lima beans, right? This is your personal expression, what you like, how you dress and act. There are so many ways to express yourself. What you like can change as you grow up, or even from day to day. I'm never going to like lima beans. No. So what do you like? And there's a picture with all these wonderful toys and drums, a giraffe, a robot, a train, and all sorts of, a horse on a stick, a kitty, and all sorts of, a doll and a dog. Yep. And this one, there's pictures of different kinds of clothing, a dress, a vest, a tutu, some socks and pants, and a kitty, and an ironing board. I love ironing boards. And wellies, and an umbrella, and a puppy dog, and a laundry hamper. Okay, it's thorough. Kids know a lot about themselves. They know who they are by how they feel inside. This is your identity. Who you feel you like inside, who do you know yourself to be? This can also change as you grow up or change from day to day. Your gender is just one part of your identity and what makes you, you. Some people say there are only 2 genders. Yeah, but now we've learned that there are many genders. Could be a boy, a girl, both, neither. I'm just me. You are who you say you are because you know you best. There you go. For some people, the grown-ups guessed right about their body and their gender. This is called cisgender, when someone's identity matches their sex assigned at birth. And for some people, there are more than just 2 choices. Here are just a few words to use that people use: trans, genderqueer, non-binary, gender fluid, transgender, gender neutral, agender, neutrosis, bigender, third gender, two-spirit, ... There's more. And there are even more words people are using to describe their experience. This is called the gender spectrum. There are a lot of ways to be a boy. There are a lot of ways to be a girl. There are a lot of ways to be a kid. Yeah. The message here: be who you are, even if that changes day to day. I am never going to like lima beans. We're going to sing our children out. This is we invite the middle school and high school to stay put with us for worship, and then for those under middle school, 6th grade and under, right? We're going to sing you out, and I'm going to turn this over to those who know how to do that.
Number 1059, we'll sing it twice.
May your life be as a song, resounding with the dawn, to sing awake the light, and softly serenade the stars, ever dancing circles in the night. May your life be as a song, resounding with the dawn, to sing awake the light, and softly serenade the stars, ever dancing circles in the night.
Before we take up the collection, I want to remind you of the many ways you can help support this community. In particular, I want to salute, and I don't think he's here, Randy Weinberg. Are you here, Randy? No. I've known Randy for a long time, which isn't surprising since he's been a member since 1999. He served on the board, the investment committee, the finance committee, what we used to call the Canvas committee, and as I recall, was a prime mover in our Canvas ministry program, as well as being, with his wife, Barb Gingler, a regular and generous financial supporter. Heartfelt thanks to Randy, Barb, and the many others who helped keep this place afloat with their generous gifts of time and treasure. And they live in Squirrel Hill, so clap loud. Okay. Now let me get back to the usual script. Every month, we share our generosity with a designated organization. This month, it is Tree Pittsburgh, which works to protect the urban forest. All donations are shared 50-50 with this organization unless otherwise designated. Now, our religious community is made up of volunteers and staff, creating and hosting a variety of programming. We rely on your financial support, and that's you guys. In addition to the collection plate, you can donate by texting GIVE to 412-435-1050 and following the directions. Please check the end of the order of the service for more directions. lights. Uh-oh. Where are they? Over here? Right where they belong. Okay. See? I knew we had a lot for her to do today. Okay. In religious community, we share our joys and our triumphs, our sorrows and our broken places. In this circle of care, we make space for the complexity of life, the myriad experiences that bless and break our hearts. The truth of human experience dictates on any given day that we each come to the table with hearts in different places. But today, I'm happy to report two joys. Nancy Latimer's mother's knee replacement surgery went well. Nancy thanks everyone for their emails, cards, notes, and thoughts for her mom. Also, some of you may know that my daughter-in-law, Kate Lovelace, was seeking the Democratic nomination for district magistrate's seat office in our neighborhood. Well, she won. All of us family members and friends are proud and delighted. And so we honor the complexity of experience writ large in various platitudes, but here in this space laid bare, honoring the truth of each of our hearts. There is room for all in this circle. May it be so, today and always.
Today I'm going to read a poem by Andrea Gibson. And Andrea Gibson's a great poet. A lot of their poems are about their gender identity and things like that, but The one I'm going to read today is about beauty. It's about learning to find the simple and everyday things in life beautiful. So, this is Acceptance Speech After Setting the World Record in Goosebumps by Andrea Gibson. I wasn't by any means a natural, was not one of those wow hounds born jaw-dropped. I was tough in the husk, went years untouched by rain, took shelter seriously, even and often especially in good weather. My tears like teenagers hiding under the hoods of my eyes, so committed they were to never falling for the joke of astonishment. When I was told there were 7 wonders of the world, I trusted the math, believed I had seen none of them. Of course, beauty hunted me. It hunts everyone. But I outran it, hid in worry, regret, the promise of an afterlife or a week's end. Then one day, in a red velvet theater in New Orleans, I watched Maya Angelou walk on stage. 17 slow steps to the mic. She took a breath before speaking, and I could hear God being born in that breath. My every pore reached out like a hand, pointing to the first unsinkable lotus in the bayou of the universe. I'd never felt anything like it. Searched the encyclopedia for the feeling's name when I got home. Goosebumps. Afterward, I thought, I can do this. Started training morning to night. Crowbar swinging like a pendulum at the wall of my chest, tore the caution tape off my life and let everything touch it. Allen Iverson on the television in his first season with the Sixers. Crossover sharp as a V of arrows flying through the paint like Michelangelo's brush. 333 goosebumps. My baby sister, sober for the first time in 13 years, calling to tell me she just noticed our mother's eyes are green. 505 goosebumps. One day, my friend scored tickets to a Prince concert. Tiny venue. I was right behind the sound booth. Prince's entire band that evening, women. At the end of the show, the sound person turned around and whispered, he didn't play one song on his set list the whole night. I live on stages. I know what it is to scratch a plan, but not the whole trip, and still arrive to your destination 200 years before your time. 421 artists formerly known as Goosebumps. But that's just the fancy stuff. Some of them came from simple facts. It rains diamonds on Jupiter. 189 goosebumps. Blood donors in Sweden receive a thank you message when their blood is used. 301 Nordic goosebumps. One night in Ann Arbor, my friend, still undiagnosed, could not uncurl her fingers to strum her guitar, so she sang the chords instead. It was the first time in my life I'd seen pain become an instrument. 10 dozen goosebumps for each and every note plucked from the string section of her refusal to silence her dream. And after that, nothing in the world was gray. Even the movie of my past was released in color. The oldest man in my hometown could not get to the door to listen to our carols, so we went inside and sang at his bedside instead. 24 boots on the front step catching snowflakes with their tongues. 776 goosebumps. At one point, everything started doing it. A sincere apology, 221 goosebumps. An enemy's love poem, 222 goosebumps. The moon rising over the continental divide. My girlfriend and I thought it was a car driving off a cliff, and suddenly nothing in the world was dying. You ever felt that? A split second when nothing in the world is dying? 888 goosebumps. And the next day, I sharpened a tiny axe so I could split the seconds myself. Too much lives in a moment to not feed it to the fire in the heart, slow. A Missoula treehouse filled with candlelight, 143 goosebumps. The Octopus documentary, 54 goosebumps multiplied by 8. The biggest dog in the shelter hiding behind a teacup chihuahua, and the woman who came to adopt a cat taking all 3 of them home. 1,012 goosebumps. There is no escaping the magic now. Beauty caught me and never let me go. And the thing about the world record is, if someone breaks it after me, and they will break it after me, I will love that so much that without even trying, I'll break it again.
I feel like that was the sermon. I'd invite you to take a moment of silence to just hold the truth of what we just heard, and a moment of loving ourselves and the beauty of ourselves. We're just going to take a moment of silence to hold love within us. God, Goddess, Spirit of life, all that is holy and divine, help us see what is precious about ourselves. Help us to love each other, which then helps us also to love ourselves. Help us to be a community of welcome. Help us to defend those who need it the most. Blessed be. Amen. Ashe. Ubuntu. Might be Ubuntu. We are because you are. Ever since I was a little kid, I was drawn to images of strength and power in human beings. I found out my name, Erica, meant forever powerful, and I was like, yeah! I wanted to be a superhero. This was stamped out very quickly, I'm afraid, by the many painful experiences that you have when you grow up as a girl and realize people will punish you for not being what they think you should be. The older I got, however, the more subtle the punishment was. I went through this phase in high school where I wanted to have another name, not to replace my name, but like an alter ego. You know what the name was? You're gonna laugh. It was Tyrone. I thought it was the most powerful, awesome-sounding name ever. It made perfect sense to me that I would love that name, and why on earth couldn't it be a name for a girl? One of the few people I made the mistake of telling this used to laugh at me relentlessly for it. I don't think she was trying to be cruel. In fact, I have my own personal theories as to why she fixated on it. Now, of course, I realize with some deeply buried embarrassment how jarring it sounds. It's not something I readily share with most people, and I rarely think about it because I have conveniently forgotten about it. This might be the second time I've told anybody about it. Anyway, I got the hint. As I entered adulthood, I came to realize that a woman with a strong physique and any portrayal of the masculine was not considered normal. When I was a kid, they used to call it being a tomboy. But as an adult, the message I was starting to get was that you had to be gay to be a tough girl. Conversely, that meant if I was drawn to those images, if I wanted to express myself that way, maybe that meant I was gay. Well, I'm not. I'm heterosexual, and I've grown to be comfortable with the fact that even that is on a spectrum. It's not like gay people are on one shelf and I'm on the other and I have to pick a side. I'm whatever I am. If I find for some day that for some reason I'm attracted to a woman, I hope I will be strong enough to realize it doesn't warrant an identity crisis. But I only worry about that because I was taught to worry about it. I wonder sometimes how I might have been as a teenager and young adult if I had not been afraid to experiment with ways to present myself, if I actually just dressed and acted whatever way I felt when I woke up that day. Today, there are so many colorful, meaningful terms for gender identities. If I had known those terms, would I have perhaps tried to claim some of them as a way to make space for myself as the strong warrior woman I wanted to be. I'm glad today that there are so many ways to see oneself. I'm still learning about this. My queer education is not very strong. I have a long way to go yet to be informed. But I'm glad. And yet at the same time, a part of me wishes there didn't have to be all this pressure to have a label, just to be and dress and do however you feel like being and dressing and doing whenever you feel like it. I have been a cisgendered heterosexual woman with all those experiences that come with that for long enough that it's a very firm part of my identity now. But all of this experience meant that, like everyone else, I struggled a lot with the pressure to behave and look a certain way to prove that I was what I said I was. I worried I was not feminine enough, while at the same time I hated that word with a passion. I worried as an adult that if I didn't present as femme, people would think I was gay, or maybe I was. And it's not that that was the issue, it was the idea that there might be something about me that I didn't know that really bothered me. There are layers of all kinds of the ways we feel that we are not enough of something, or don't conform to whatever it is we think we're supposed to be. Body shape, hair type, and skin color all can be a part of the complex system of pressure that forces us to try to prove something, even if we don't actually want to prove it, because if you don't, you can be punished, hurt, and ostracized. And this goes, of course, far beyond gender and sex. I worry that I'm not black enough. This is something a lot of BIPOC people can actually relate to. I worry about how I'm not organized enough, how my executive functioning seems to be lacking when compared to some of my peers who might just have had a little more support than I did. I worry that I should know more about money or do math in my head better. I dislike, but I accept the fact that my chemical makeup includes an imbalance for which I have to medicate myself. And even so, I am never 100% free of anxiety and its companion depression. I accept that this is a disability I did not ask for, and I can manage it, but not cure it. As I get older, I worry about my health and the fact that I hate exercise, and that I failed as a vegan, and that my house is messy, and that I am more passionate than I am politically savvy. I worry that my teeth aren't white enough and straight enough. I worry that my family wasn't worldly enough and that we didn't handle conflict healthfully enough. I worry that I'm not whatever enough. And I think that maybe if I were, maybe I'd be more successful, maybe more likable, more me than I am. Perhaps if I could have just been more me, I would have been more like the me that I imagine myself to be. That perfect vision that does everything and has time for everything and embodies everything that I admire about others. You probably get the point by now. Every single person has things they wish they could change about themselves, or they think they should. Aw, thank you. I love you too, just the way you are. And that is what I'm getting to. This, I think, is harder the younger you are because you have less control over your life, but I could be wrong. I don't know. All I know is we come into the world with our traits and our faults and our genetic predispositions, our family and our ancestral baggage and trauma, our disabilities and our limitations. Some of them we're able to adjust with some hard work or transform into gifts. Some of them we learn to live with. And some of them we will probably always struggle with, like a splinter in your finger, always reminding you that it's there no matter what you are trying to do. You know what's hilarious? Unitarian Universalism struggles with identity too. I mean, as an institution, as a whole community, we struggle with the fact that we don't look like other religions. The label is too long to read. No matter how many times we work on the so-called elevator pitch, people don't usually grasp who we are right away. You know why? because we don't really grasp who we are right away. I've been thinking about this a lot lately. Part of my job is to help people in my congregation have a sense of Unitarian Universalist identity. But no matter how much I talk about covenant versus creed or the 8 principles, or even lead a class called Building Your Own Theology, we never come up with any easy answers. We are never finished. We simply can't be defined or described in bite size. We can't. And I find myself thinking this year after COVID, trying to get back to some kind of normal, really? Is that so bad? What's so wrong with that? What's so bad about not being easily defined? It's not because we don't know who we are or what we're about. It's because instead of sharing an identity made up of checkboxes, we are sharing only one thing, commitment. You know what being a Unitarian Universalist means? Showing up. That's it. That's what we do. Wherever we are in our life stages, our spiritual orientations, our passions, our needs, that's who we are and what we bring. And because of that, we are so incredibly powerful. It's astounding that we forget this all the time. It's not that we don't believe in anything or believe whatever we want. It's not belief. It's that belief is not what comes first. Commitment is. Showing up is. Being in community with other people so you can actually get something done is. Yes, it would be very convenient to be told what to believe. It would be easier, perhaps, to have a number of rituals that easily put us in touch with feeling part of something or that comfort us with a sense of familiarity. We're often lamenting that we don't have many of these things. Yes, it would be nice to have more of them. I personally would continue to pursue that. But the truth is, we don't have a lot of those things because that's not what we put first. Being a Unitarian Universalist means putting people first. We put others who have needs or are being persecuted or oppressed first. And we put work on ourselves by learning to be in community, which is not easy, before our own comfort. Everyone here could find some other place where they feel like they might fit right in, where they share more than just commitment. Maybe they share the same fandoms, or the same literature that they love, or the same music, or have read the same books, or watched the same movies, or like CrossFit, or have a specific diet that is a way of life. Everyone here might even be able to find another religious community where they feel that they can practice more openly, talk about their spiritual beliefs, knowing that other people will understand the same language that they're using. We would love to have those things, and we sometimes do. But that is not what we put first. In July, I have the opportunity to go to Kenya. I can hardly believe I'm going to set foot on the African continent, the motherland. It's the birth of it all, so exciting. In Kenya, one of the things I will be learning about is a principle of interconnectedness called Ubuntu. Ubuntu means roughly, I am because you are. This translation doesn't really do it justice, however. Ubuntu is the essence of what we know as our 7th principle, maybe all the principles. Except there on the African continent, it's not a new concept, it's an old one. It's a way of life that permeates many of the cultures found in Africa. If you want to know what Unitarian Universalism is, this is it. We are because you are. We are not because of what you believe about the mysteries of the universe or consciousness. Not because you share the same income bracket or the same likes and dislikes or the same generational label or even the same interests. We are because you are here right now. You being here is what makes us Unitarian Universalists. If you're like most of us, those of you who are younger, your adulthood will involve a lot of looking to find where and with whom you belong. You may find that in some ways you will feel more at home with other people than with your church of origin. And you may have always felt that way, and there's nothing wrong with that. But there is always going to be a community that needs you, specifically you, who you are and all that you bring with you. It does not need you to be like anything. It does not need you to be without disability, without problems or baggage or trouble or needs. It doesn't need you to have it all together. When we show up as we are giving others the gift of loving and accepting us, and that allows them to love themselves too. It just needs you to show up. This is the place you go when you are ready to get something done. It's not the only place, considering that the concept of Ubuntu far outdates Unitarian Universalism principles. It is definitely not. But it is, among the unique communities like us, a place where we choose to live in the mess and fluidity and nondescript, because there are things that need to get done, and we are needed. We are needed because we want to answer the call, and we are needed because of whoever and whatever and all the things that we are. We are needed because we will show up. We, Unitarian Universalists, are who you are, and we always will be. Today is a moment that we would be celebrating our bridging seniors, but I don't know if they are actually here. Which is the funny thing about anything you try to do with youth and young adults. They're busy. Is Stella here? She is here! Okay, all right. You don't mind being the only one, I hope. I'm sorry. You can symbolically stand for everybody. Okay. Well, we do have the privilege to celebrate our first bridging ceremony in a number of years. I'd like to please call up any young adults who might be here who are willing to come and stand up by the piano. Is there anybody here who can stand in as young adults? Oh, technically 8 to 35, but I'm not going to check your license. Go for it. And then Stella, you can stand over here near me, or Flowers, or whatever. Thank you for coming. So I will call up any other graduating or recently graduated high school seniors. Is there anybody else here? Okay. Stella, you and all those symbolically that you stand here with. You are on the threshold of adulthood according to our culture, but you also have been here for some time. Your personality is unique, but it also has developed as you've grown. Now you are stepping into the rights, privileges, and responsibilities of the adult. Finally, I call Reverend Kate to come stand over by the young adults at the microphone. Thank you, young adults. Thank you so much. Reverend Kate's going to offer you a blessing as you cross the bridge from the youth of this community to its adult. So Stella, if you would, please cross over now to the other side. Young adults, please greet her warmly.
Stella, as you shift forward into your next chapter, we send you with our fondest hopes and blessings. May life bring enough challenges to fuel your dreams, enough affirmation to honor your gifts, and enough nurture to give your spirit peace. Believe in your vision, follow your dreams, and always know that when you return to us, here you will find the hands of friends, always. And before you any of us return to our seats, I'm going to ask some input from the congregation. Would you please rise as you are able, in body or spirit, and when I prompt you, you can clap or shout your affirmation for Stella and all of our shifting youth into young adulthood, because I know they're out there also in the larger community. Congregation, our responsibility for these young people has not ended. Even though they may go different places, we must always be ready to welcome them home. Will you care for them? Keep in touch with and welcome back these young adults. Whenever they come back, please say we will.
We will.
Will you promise to commit yourselves to nurturing our youth and emerging adults who are still going through our religious education program? If so, please say we do. We do. And would you please give a loud, raucous, like we can hear it out in the streets, affirmation to Stella and all of our And Stella, thank you for being the one who is here today. But we do know there are many others out there, and indeed, there is also a service at General Assembly called Synergy, which you are welcome to participate at here in Pittsburgh in June. And then you might be you might recognize that there's a whole lot more. Thank you. Please be seated.
And for those of you who identify as young adults, I want to let you know that we do have a place for you to gather after the service today. Kelly, could you just raise your hand really quick? You'll know her with the little girl with the rainbow dress, but Kelly is organizing our young adults, and so you can meet downstairs in the Channing room during the coffee hour if you would like to just get to know each other and hang out. Thank you, Kate. Thank you, Stella. We will go ahead and, let's see. Oh, we're going to sing hymn 128. For all that is our life, you can rise in body or spirit.
For all that is our life, we sing our thanks and praise. For all life is a gift, which we are called to use, to build the common good, and make our own days glad. For needs which others serve, for services we give, for work and its rewards, for hours of rest and love, we come with praise and thanks. For all that is our life, for sorrow we must bear, for failures, pain, and loss, for each new thing we learn, for fearful hours that pass, we come with praise and thanks. For all that is our life, for all that is our life, we sing our thanks and praise. For all life is a gift, which we are called to use, to build the common good, and make our own days glad.
We are now going to extinguish our external material chalice flame, but we do not extinguish the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Blessings to you all.